All right, what's going on, Tycoon? Super excited for today's video. We are going to be looking at Qualcomm, okay, ticker symbol QCOM. All right. The reason we're looking at this one, all right, is there's two reasons. One is the metaverse. Okay, this is a great, potential metaverse investment. All right, this is an American-based chip company, which brings me to number two. It's an American-based chip company. Why is this important? Well, because this big fat, basically bill that Joe Biden is trying to pass, this infrastructure bill, is going to benefit American-based semiconductor chip manufacturers. Okay, and that's what Qualcomm is. All right, so they are going to be receiving, basically, some help from the government. All right, and then also they are in high potential just to be working with a lot. Okay, they're California tech-based chip company. They could get into lidar and autonomous driving. Okay, so you could see them have a partnership with let's say Lucid, for instance, or Rivian or something like that. Okay, if they partnership with them to supply the chips, that'll have the software capabilities, basically, and the processing capabilities for the technology needed for their autonomous driving. Okay, so that's a possibility. But basically, it's the metaverse. It boils down to it's a great metaverse investment and it's a great infrastructure bill play. Okay, they're going to receive money from the government, and if the metaverse continues, well, what's going to power the metaverse? It's going to be these high-powered chips, that are running all the computers and everything that is basically running the metaverse. Okay, so that's why we're looking at it. I've got a whole playlist on my channel called Top Metaverse Investments. I go over the price levels for some long-term buy zones for lots and lots of the top metaverse investments, whether they're stocks or crypto. So we do stocks, crypto, and options here on the channel. And I mostly like options and crypto, but stock is really good to hold long-term. And so that's why I'm showing you guys these. So with that being said, we'll dive straight into the video and the technical analysis. Okay, so what I have, the first thing I want to show you guys, okay, is we have basically like three little semi-bearish divergences. Okay, if you look at this point, we have a high here, made a higher high. At this point, we have a high here, made a higher high. At this point, we have a high and we made a higher high. Okay, so we've made a higher high multiple times on the QCOM stock. All right, so the price action has been rising, but as you can see here on the RSI at each one of these levels, it has gone down actually slightly. So they've made lower highs. So if the price action is making a higher high, but the RSI action is making a lower high, then that is a form of some bearish divergence. All right, now that doesn't mean that the stock is about to tank and it's about to go down. Basically, that is just showing you that, hey, basically, the stock price is rising higher, but the strength of the price is dropping lower. So that price is not strong, so it could drop. Basically, that's how you read the RSI and the price action together to figure out bearish divergence or bullish divergence. All right. So, and if you notice today, we're looking at the 1 year or the daily chart. We have a red indecision candlestick on the day. Okay. So it's kind of dropping a little bit, but not much, not a big drop, not anything drastic. So just be prepared, okay, for that bearish divergence. Don't be surprised if we do see some red in the next week, all right, or through the rest of this week. That can be expected, okay? You can be expected for that. So with that being said, I have this gap here. I just want to show you guys, okay, basically kind of like as proof about the whole gaps fill 90 to 95% of the time thing. All right, so we have this previous gap on the price. If you look here, there was a gap from here to here on the stock, and later, so this gap down happened on February 5th. All right, and then on November, we ended up filling that gap. Okay, so from February to November was like 6 months. So it took about 6 months for that gap to fill. All right, so that's what I mean. They fill 90 to 95% of the time. It's just a matter of when. Okay, sometimes they fill the next day, sometimes they fill in a year, sometimes they fill in a month. All right. It's just good to keep them charted, and I would always set some alerts on any long-term bullish conviction plays you have, on any gaps down, to start looking for some possible long-term investment areas. Okay. So with that being said, we have a gap down to fill at 139 on the daily chart. And we also have a gap down to fill at 93 on the daily chart. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if we will see the 93 gap fill. And if we do, we would need a very bearish market. Okay. The tech sector would need to be very bearish, basically, for that to happen. And if we get some bad news and the market, has a bad few months, then you could see QCOM drop down to 93. Now, realistically, the gap fill at 139 is probably more likely to happen in the near term versus the gap at 93. We have that bearish divergence. Our main support levels that we need to hold are going to be at 166.70, 150.03, and basically 141. Okay, so if we drop below those, we're definitely going to fill the rest of the gap at 139. And if we go below 139, our next major support level is going to be 122.55. And if we don't hold that as support, then most likely we're going to go down and fill the gap at 93. Okay, so be prepared for this one to pull back. If you're in it, I wouldn't worry. Okay, I would definitely hold your position and look to add more on a dip. Okay, because this thing has been running up pretty well, very, very well, actually. If we look here, let's see how much this has gone up from October 8th, okay, up to what was its highs? That was a 54% run up in 30 days that it had. So that's amazing. All right. Now, when things run up 54% that quickly, they tend to breathe really hard as well. Okay. So you may see a 10 to 20% drop in QCOM because it just ran up 50% in 30 days. All right. Does that make sense? So not only do we know that stocks need to breathe after running up so that they continue to run, right? They need to catch their breath so they can run more. We also know that there's a slight bearish divergence. So we have two kind of things saying, all right, hey, we may pull back here. Be prepared for a pullback. All right. When it comes to the daily chart, all three of the SMAs are pretty near each other, the 50, 100, and 200. So I would, if you want this thing to stay bullish, what I would look is for a bounce either off of 166.70. And if we break below 166.70, I would look for a bounce off of the yellow 50-day simple moving average right here, which is currently around like 147, 148. But over the next few days, this will be going up some more just because, the price action, this thing ran up so massively. Okay. So it's kind of at a make or break point right here. All right. We're either gonna, consolidate and drop. All right. So it can have some more, breath to run, or, this thing is just going to keep going up and it's basically getting its breather right now and consolidating. Okay. Let's look a little bit smaller time frame. Let's see on the 1 hour chart if we have any bullish patterns to indicate we could be going higher. Yeah, so right here, we're forming a small inverse head and shoulders. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in real nice on this so you guys can see it, and I'll go ahead and draw it out for you as well. All right. So we're gonna go here and we'll do like this. Okay. So possible inverse head and shoulder, but I would say that this kind of canceled it out, honestly, and negated it. So I don't see too much on the upside coming here, for QCOM. Okay. There is even on the 1 hour chart, there is a small gap down to 177. So we'll most likely be seeing 177 here soon on QCOM. And just remember what I said, okay? This is a good long-term investment. I think that this has the potential, to 5x over the next 5 to 10 years, all right? Definitely, if the metaverse sector takes off, if this Biden infrastructure bill really helps them out and they're really really able to establish some good infrastructure, okay, within the company that will set them up for the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years to 20 years, then this thing should perform very well. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join the Options Trading Tycoons Discord, where you get insight to all of the valuable resources, the admin members, and also the call outs from me and the other admin members. So you can know when we buy something, when we sell something, and basically kind of why we did it. All right. So you can follow along in those plays if you choose. Lots of people do that. And that's what I did when I first started joining the Options Trading Tycoons Discord until, I just spent enough time learning on myself to where I could make my own plays and call outs and be confident in my own analysis after learning. Okay, so I encourage you guys to do that. I encourage everyone to join. It is well worth the membership fee. And if you want to get yourself a discount on the membership fee, you can use code Zachly, like the channel name ZachlyTrades, and you will get yourself a discount on your membership. Okay, like for instance, I just had a 200% day trade today. And before that, I had a day trade for like 50%. All right. And that was all those trades were 30 minutes or less and making big money real quick, 30 minutes or less, sometimes an hour. We do swing trades, we do long-term investing. So lots and lots of good stuff in there. All right. Thank you guys, and I'm out.